Here we go. Okay, now it's streaming. Yeah, now it's connected. Okay, part 2 of the stream continues. So we are in the adding the lower layer synth. I'm gonna use this opportunity to, because I mean, everybody can use a little bit of a refresher on synthesis, always. So I'm gonna use this situation to create a sound from scratch in the Prophet 5. So I have a mixer here where I have oscillator A and B and noise. So if I turn this down, there will be nothing. I'm working on the second layer. I'm working on the layer of bass. So I have nothing, and that's on purpose. If I add this, I have oscillator 1. Let's start from another sound. Let's grab a bass sound and then modify it. Like so. Let me grab this bass fifth. No, I don't want to grab this guy. This is a good place to start. And then I have oscillator A, B, C, and noise. We will discuss noise a little bit later and how useful it can be. So I'm gonna change this guy a little bit. This is 12 semitones. I'm gonna put it like, wait. This is oscillator A. I don't want it to be so low. Let's move out the cutoff a little bit. No, I want it to be like that. Let's make it a bit longer on attack. Yeah, why not? Let's use this little pseudo dubsteppy thing. And let's change the pulse width to make it a bit narrow for oscillator 2, for example. Oh, it was more fat like this. Let's do it for oscillator 1. Okay. Make this the release a bit longer. Sustain a bit higher. Okay, some bass layer, whatever that is. Of course, I can go and reverb this, reverb the hell out of this. So let's go to audio effects and drop some reverbs. Room, special, reflections, whatever. And then I have a reverb on the lower, layer. Do I? No, I don't. There it is. And oh, that sounds really great. I love this layer. Okay, let's hear it together. I'm here, yeah. And I don't know, like, the thing about layering is that many people, and I hope that this lecture can motivate you to not do this and never do this. Many people find a synth and they stay there like as if that was it. I found my synth, you know, and it's like, no man, that's just the beginning of the search for a good synth sound. Like, you can add infinite layers, and then if you're strategic about it, you can of course end up with something so much more cool than what you started. You see, like, if I remove this bass layer, we lose a lot of information and it's a lot more interesting. Okay, that's cool. Let's move on a little bit and keep going to something more interesting. Da? It's yes. I got it. That's better, right? Like this. Yeah, great, thanks. Okay, so let's move on to another option here. So we had the bass layer, and now the adding of another octave. So okay, that would imply us, let me just grab this and duplicate this MIDI track and drop it down here. And then just grab all this thing and shift up, and then I just moved it one octave up, and let's see how it sounds. And actually even one more octave up, because this, wait, let's just see it. I want to grab a polyphonic sound that this is monophonic, and if I'm not mistaken, with I should have a polyphony option here? Hold, legato, no, 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 no. Pitch range, is it down here? No, no. Is it up here? Because I really feel this is polyphonic and monophonic. Well, let me just load a patch or something, a pad. Wait, so let me just load here double trouble. Let's see what's up with this guy. And let's run the... Okay, nothing special there. I'm gonna move on if I find this to be too obvious. But that's another option you have. You can add just another octave and see what comes out of that. Now, here is where things, I think, start getting more interesting for people who are already doing layering and need some extra new ideas. So one option that we have is to add an attack layer. So this is when we start getting a little bit strategic about how we do our layering, and we don't think only like about the spectrum, but we think more about the envelopes of what we are doing. Because remember, what we want is to make something to stand out or to become larger. So let's think about what does it means to add an attack layer, for example. Let's say that let's stay on this example so we can cover more ground today. And I'm gonna actually grab this second prophet that I just have here, the higher octave, and I'm gonna move it to the lower octave. And then I'm just gonna make the attack very short and the decay very short and the sustain very low and the release almost inexistent. Let me see, I want this to be like a clavichord kind of thing. Wait, I need to increase the sustain, I think. Let me see, I think this thing has a delay. Let me switch it off. Chorus. And this is the filters envelope. Ah, here is the amplifiers envelope. Sustain. Wait, let me increase. No, increase the sustain, sorry. Envelope amount reduces. Aha, that's where I wanted to go. So yeah, I'm just creating an attack layer. Something like this. We can make it even more interesting. Wait, if we think in the following way. Wait, let me just go back to the synth. Loop this. Давай. Just thinking 1 second, turning this up. Yeah, that's better. I'm just thinking about what I have just done. The resonance, the envelope amount, that's correct. No, well, it was better how it was before. Yeah, there you go. I think that's a good attack layer. No, very nice reverb after. That's really great. So let's see what our attack layer is doing. For us. That's quite obvious. I mean, another obvious option that I can apply there is just to grab here some sort of like piano clavichord kind of thing, keys like clavifet. Oh wow, I was not expecting that to sound like that, but something like a clavichord, very clear clavichord, Asian-like. Let me see. Oh, it's so nice. Let me work on this. I want to transform this into some attack layer. So nice attack layer. We could make the decay to be slower. Nice, nice. That's exactly what I wanted. And so what can we do with this attack layer? Well, I mean, don't claim that this is a Grammy winning sound, but I want to introduce this concept to you. Adding an attack layer can be a cool way to improve your sounds, just by thinking about like strategically on how you're gonna do some layering. So nice. Move on. The next option is the opposite. It's like, okay, let's add a sustained layer. So let's not just stay on adding an attack layer, but let's just think like so it's a little bit the opposite procedure that we just did. It's kind of like go here and thinking more like long attack, even longer, and thinking of the sustain. And let's make it in general, guys, like if we act without a strategy, things can get really easy. I mean, look, what I'm trying to say with this is like, for the production of this, I'm sorry that I speak so much about the production of the film. It's obviously the biggest project I have ever done in my life, and that's why I'm so talking about it so much, because it's just like I had to write so much. And when you have strategies like this, you're just so much more powerful than if you act randomly. So if we have a strategy, you see, like, one thing is to layer an instrument by just like, let's just layer the instrument, whatever. And another thing is to and another different thing is to layer with a strategy. So I mean, that's kind of obvious, obviously, and that is something that is nothing new in your life. But the more you progress in your career, the more you're going to need strategy so you can pay attention to your family and do things faster. So, okay, great. Let's move on. That has been the tune of our whole course, right, since the beginning. So the sustain layer, we have discussed this. That's really cool. The next one is a release layer. So now, I mean, we're kind of in a similar territory, but we are going to focus more on the release moment. So now we don't care so much about the attack and the sustain. We care more about a long release. And actually, one of the things that we may want to do is to grab those notes and to make them a bit shorter for the release layer. So we kind of like focus more on the release part of the sound. And we actually can, this is where and by the way, I hope that this can also brush you off some concepts of synthesis. Like, this is a moment when I would be interested in delaying the attack of the actual chords that I'm playing, of the filter, sorry, of the chords. So I get more of an emphasis on the actual release of the synth. Let's have a listen. And by the way, I really wanted to talk a lot with you about synths. So this was another way that I thought that we can have a conversation about synths. You see, like, that's what I care. I care about the release part. Let's make this a bit more. Let me try this. I want to make the attack almost inexistent and to make sure that what remains is the release. Now let me reduce this and make the attack the envelope. Yeah, this is gonna be better. And if I do this, let me make it even slower. And this one. Again, my goal is to focus on the release. This is the attack of the filter, and this is the attack of the main synth, of the amplifier. And you know something? Here is a great moment to discuss compression. Because you see, one of the things I can do is to use a compressor to increase the level of the tail of the release. Let's try to do that. And let's put the attack quite slow, because we want to compress. Look at that tail, how I made it louder. Great. And let me increase the knee. Make the release longer. And if I work a little bit, wow, that's so great that we could make like an application of compression, like a really clear application of compression here. So I want still this thing to, I'm gonna make the cutoff start a little bit lower, because I really want to hide the attack. Increase the sustain. And I think I can turn the volume of everything up. Okay, that's my sustain layer. I mean, that's an example of how I can achieve it. Let's hear them together. Louder, I think. There it is. Nice. Nice. Great. Okay, great. I really like that. So that's a release layer. Another idea. Now, this in here, we're gonna talk a little bit about drums as well, because there is a little trick, and this is going to be interesting for the engineers in the crowd, or engineer in the crowd, in singular, but there is something that could be interesting here for the engineer in the crowd. And I don't know if you have done this, but okay, so I'm going to discuss now the role of white noise as a layering tool. By the way, guys, before I start going this, tell me, can we stay a couple of minutes together, or do you all have to leave at 4:30? 00. If you're on YouTube, you can reply to me on text. If you're on Google Meet, you can write or just tell me, can we stay a little bit longer, or do you have to go at 4:30? You have another lesson? At what time? At 5? Okay. Well, I'm gonna then just take 10 minutes, okay? And then I'll give you 20 minutes for resting before the next lesson. Sounds reasonable? So I can continue progressing as usual. I mean, not as usual, but well, these technical issues, and I was a bit delayed, and I'm sorry that if the lectures didn't went as well as I would like to, but anyways, let's continue. Let's try to cover as much material, because I want to move on from this topic. Maybe next week I can cover a couple of more options and then move on. So anyways, the white noise layer, guys, if I still have Dima's attention here, I think that there is something interesting about this. I'm gonna, because I mean, I'm referring specifically to my engineers, my bros engineers. I'm gonna get any snare top. I don't know if any of you have done something like this in your life, but this is a really cool thing. I'm gonna get a snare top, any snare top from one of my recordings, whatever. Let me grab here Hoodie, And let me take audio file, and let me take here the snare top. Let me just grab any snare top track. Snare top. It doesn't matter which one it is. Tom snare top. Let me take this, the SM57, and drop it down here. Make sure that it's unwarped. Okay, so I have a snare top. Great. And look at what I'm gonna do next. Well, I'm gonna beef this up a little bit so the transients are more clear. And I am going to use here, gate, just to get rid of those kicks that you were hearing there. So let me just get rid of the kicks and just focus on the snares. That's good. So what the hell am I talking about? Why am I talking about white noise and snares? Because there are sometimes the situations when you don't have... This is a very classic like little trick of sound engineering. There are sometimes that you don't have a snare bottom recorded because of some X reason, and you can layer your snare top with a gated white noise layer, if I can call it like that. So I'm gonna drop here a mini Moog, Moog V, clips, plugins, mini V. I'm gonna load here the mini V, and I'm just gonna get it to produce white noise. Let me just load any sound here. Command Shift M, and put any little sound here. Anything, and grab this dude here and move it all the way to the back and expand it like this, just so it's the same size. And now I have a sound. And when you grab a synth like this, who of you feel comfortable enough like to, I mean, that you think that you can see a synth like this and get white noise out of it alone? Do you feel comfortable to do this, or is synthesis something that we could explore together maybe in some lecture? Or we shouldn't talk about... If I tell you, give me white noise from this device, do you know how to do that? Yeah, okay, I do that, and then? Yeah, but there is a principle. I was kind of like pushing you a little bit there. There is a principle which is like switch off all other oscillators, leave the noise module on, and then you're gonna end up with, I hope, white noise. Well, yeah, I see why there's no sound. Just let me sort it out. Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, it's just, these are general synthesis principles. If you feel that we could discuss synthesis together, we can do it as well. I'm not getting... the white noise module was off. So here's my white noise. I need to make sure that it's not filtered. There's no filtering happening to it. Sorry, I guess that this is not so comfortable to listen to, so I'm gonna make it very quiet so it doesn't bother you. And so I have a white noise layer now there. This thing is just running there, and then what I would need to do is to put a gate on my mini Moog. Have you ever done this before, guys? Like this, like white noise. White noise snare bottom layer. And so the next thing that you do, you see, you grab your snare top. Here's my snare top. And then you tell to the gate, like down here, like, hey gate, please listen to the snare track that I have here, snare top, SM57, and open yourself. That's you see, like, that's for the snare, for the white noise layer. So now I mean it's very like ghetto snare bottom, but a snare bottom it is. Wait, why it's not... yeah, it's opening. Look at this, like, I'm obviously exaggerating it. And let me make the gate to be super closed, so there's no... There it is. That's really quite hearable. Wait, that's what I want. There it is. Ah, it worked. And by the way, you add a little bit of reverb to it to make it a bit more like natural feeling. So let me add here a small room. And we have a snare bottom. That's how it was. Yep. Great. I mean, that's cool that we can have a little bit of like a fun with with a very simple white noise generator and just a gate, and that's all. So okay, you're so right, bro. Let's try it right now. Let me see. In Ableton, is there any spring reverb easy to find here? Let me see if in the version. Yeah, I do have one, really good one. It's gonna sound amazing, bro. Excellent idea. Spring. I do have a spring reverb. You know where? There is like in Waves. Waves have these pedals for the guitars. This is so cool. I love to make sound design, man. I love to create sounds that are not there and just like to kind of like think about how can I achieve something like that. So there is it's like a pedal. No, it's like stomp. Yeah, guitar stomp. There you go. So Wave guitar stomp. If I load this, there is a very nice, I don't know if a very nice, but there is a spring reverb here that is, it will do what we want now. And let's play it here. Ah, nice. Dima, what a good idea. There you go. If we turn it down in volume, it should be there just like as a layer. Anyways. By the way, another thing that we discussed today, I was having a conversation about this white noise thing with the foundation students. Wait. Another thing that we can do, I'm gonna duplicate this. This is very stupid, but we did a whole like exploration with white noise. I'm gonna freeze this and flatten it. Just a moment. I'm gonna flatten it and freeze it. Freeze. Flatten. So now I have a white noise sample, and a thing you can do sometimes that could be interesting with white noise is to load a white noise sample into the simpler. And wait, let me just go here, instruments, and load it into the simpler, and load this sample into the simpler, and you can end up with tuned white noise, and it can be a useful thing. And there's a whole bunch of things that you can do here, but I'm not gonna just go into it so far because I'm gonna get a bit lost. I'm not so good with the simpler, but you get what you mean. Like, you get what I mean. You can also add some white noise into the simpler and use it as a resource. Now, before we part ways, I have 7 minutes to demonstrate one last thing. And so next week we will continue. Like, from next week we will continue from option 10. So we did half today. And the next options are the more innovative, the more unique, the more different ones that I haven't discussed with you. And today I had actually a really good time discussing this with other students as well. So I hope that I can catch your attention that day and that we can be together and discuss them. Now, what is the thing that I want to discuss before you go? It's kind of the opposite. It's a little bit like I have a kick and I want to make my kick to grow a little bit. I'm not going to use white noise for that. Let me just grab here a kick in. That is going to be a very like high range kick sound. Let's have a listen to it. It's not having so much low end. Let me just push this up a little bit. So now we're going to do a little bit like the opposite. And we had a little bit of a conversation about this the other day in the mixing class, Dima. But I'm going to load here the... where are you? I'm going to load here the instruments, and I'm going to load from sampler, from Ableton. I'm going to load the impulse. No, the impulse is not what I want, sorry. I don't have the operator here, god damn it, because I have a very... well, I don't need the operator, really. I can do this with another synth. All I'm looking for is like a very low-end sinusoid. So I'm gonna grab here in my plugins, and I'm gonna open again the Mini 5. Let's just keep it there because it's an easy one to operate. And I'm gonna open the Mini 5, and wait, this is a very high octave. Wait, up, sorry. And there is here one thing that is called one oscillator. It's just like literally one oscillator. And let's make it be something like a sinusoidal. And let's make it be lower. Something like this. Increase the volume of it. Cutoff. So it's just like an impulse. Let me just turn it up a little bit here. Yeah, something like this. And we can tune this to the song. We can also fine tune it. There is a fine tune here, like wait a sec. Yeah, I know. Oscillators, all the other oscillators are off. Okay, so let me just grab this thing here and just drop it here. 1 second, and drop it like a couple of octaves down. Well, obviously this will be a little bit hard for you to listen because we are transmitting, and there is like not so much low end in your system right now, but if you were with me, you will hear it quite clearly. So what I have just done, I grabbed the gate and I just put it there, and I'm using the same thing as a source for the gate. Let me switch on the gate. Well, if you were hearing in my system, I hear that low end becoming a part of the kick now really nicely. And the cool thing is that I can super tune it. If I load here the we had this this plugin of Ableton. We just were fiddling around with it. It was shifter, right? Like if I grab the shifter and I drop it here, I can also fine tune that kick even better. So I just created a kick sub out of nowhere. All I needed was a synth and a gate. Strings, chorus and ensemble. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't have it in this instance. We discussed this, Dima, you and I, a couple of days ago. There are things like R-Bass, which are, yeah, there are a lot of things, but I mean, it's cool to understand how to pull off these things, like when you need to, you know, in some emergency case or whatever, or in a live sound situation. You can use the oscillator of the console sometimes to make this, like to make a sub kick. So anyways, some ways of layering that can be useful. So we will have a couple of more discussions about this next week and move on. Please try to deliver me, because remember that these lectures becomes a bit harder to deliver when you don't give me material. So try to give me some material so we can discuss it. We have their songs from Lala and Masha that we can have a conversation about. But if they are not here, I don't want to have these conversations with them. I will put this on Google Classroom very soon. So remember that, orient yourself that in 4 weeks you need to have a full-on mega super awesome single done to the maximum level of quality. So don't let this for the last minute and focus on it. And if you have any questions, comments, subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment in the text below, share it with your friends. Exactly, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. And if you want to share some Bitcoin with us, we would be very happy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. I love you a lot. Good to see you, and I hope I'm not boring and that I can add something in your days, even though it's some things that you already have thought about, but I'm just trying to help you to make some like things that can help you to get unstuck in the future. Bye, friends. See you later. Paka paka.